today. I know it was less than favorable conditions on the way over here this morning. I know that my dad might have driven the speed limit, and we almost had a national security issue on the way over here because I thought my mom was going to climb up in the front seat and try to drive. So I grew up pretty much around Washington. I spent most of my summers in the river bottoms hanging out, riding my four-wheeler, playing around. So when I heard we were having one of these in Washington, kind of jumped at the chance to come back and be here. Anyways, my topic, identity theft. How many people here have had their identity stolen? Few of us. I'm 22 years old, and I've had mine stolen twice already. Now I'm going to tell you about it a little bit. Kind of quicker. That helps. Next slide. So this big thing we call identity theft really didn't come into play, really wasn't a big problem until sort of the turn of the millennium when we had this huge electronics boom. And things started to take off, and smartphones and the internet became a big deal. You used to think of big mafia and crime syndicates as people that will hustle you and shake you down. Nowadays, a lot of them are sitting in a computer lab somewhere, running their business and never leaving their office. So, every minute in the United States, 19 people fall victim to identity theft. This is over 10 million people a year, costing each one of those people about $500 a person. And to top it off, that's 100 million of us whose identities are put at risk every year, whether through government agencies or corporations. We just had the big Google hack not too long ago when they released people's information. All this and all totals $50 billion a year in losses for everybody. Wouldn't take too long saving that much money to solve the national debt. So, still, how do they get your identity? The most common type is still old-fashioned stealing. Come over here. Pickpockets and purse snatchers. How do we solve this? It's real simple. When you're in a crowded area, keep your wallet in your front pocket and make sure your purses are zipped, because I know a lot of ladies walk around with their purses. It's on their shoulder, wide open for everything to be snatched out. Also, when you're in airports, for example, first time I got mine stolen, I was in Orlando Airport, wearing baggy pants, didn't think a thing about it. Somebody took my wallet right out of my pocket, never knew. So keep your wallet in your front pocket. Next, fishing. This has nothing to do whatsoever with bass or catfish. It's actually where they fish for your information. They get you to willingly give you your information, and you won't think twice about it. So, let's example, this is a fake website. I know a lot of people around here use Crane Federal Credit Union. So let's say you get a new email saying, us at Crane Federal Credit Union got a new computer system. They need you to update your information. So what do? You click on the link, goes to Crane Federal Credit Union's website. You resubmit your information. You put in your social security number, because we know every bank wants that. You put in your address, you put in your home phone number, anything they need, and you willingly cough them up the information. Next, we have spam and pop-ups. Sort of both fall under the same thing. You take you're just surfing the internet, pop-up comes up, you don't think twice about sometimes. I know my mom loves QVC, clicking on a QVC pop-up. It embeds a zombie in your computer, a virus, and later they get on it, opens up the virus, access to all your information on your computer. Next one, phone calls. The new movie that just came out, Identity Thief, super funny, you might want to go see it. But this is how she stole the guy's identity in the movie. She called him, said, hey, we have a problem with your account, we need you to verify your information. Also, I know a lot of politicians are calling around this time of year asking for money. No big deal. But believe it or not, some of them aren't real people. They're not real politicians. They want you to give them your credit card number. And I know my dad also does this a lot, just gives them a credit card number over the phone. Never do that. You need them to send you paperwork to verify who they are. Skimming. This also came around with the age of smartphones and things like this. This little skimmer right here that reads credit cards, you can find it at Walmart for $13.16, and it can ruin your life. Simple example how they might use this one. As you're at Applebee's eating supper, you hand the waitress your credit card, As she's walking to check you out the cash register, she swipes it through this little skimmer. Nothing happens. She has all your information though. She goes ahead, checks you out, gives you your receipt, you sign, you leave. Later that night, she goes home, runs it through the little black picture right here on the bottom, and it puts all that information onto a blank credit card. You can buy blank credit cards on the internet for 4 cents a piece. And then she's off on her spending spree buying gas and whatever she wants this year. Another simple one, U.S. Postal Service. They'll go into a big post office. It doesn't happen around here a lot because the postmaster knows everybody. But go into a big post office and fill out a change of address form. One day's mail goes to someone else, fills bank statements, credit card bills. All the information are on those, so they'll steal it. Also, they'll just simply drive by and take a piece of mail out of your mailbox. So, we know computer hacking is a big deal. A lot of people don't have these little things on their computers. This picture right here is of a password on your startup screen. Most people don't have passwords set on their startup screens. This is something that people don't like to hassle with. And so, those people who don't have those are just easy prey. So if you don't want to get your computer hacked, have one of those. Identity thieves that hack your computer see it as a hassle. And a lot of times they don't have to bother with it, so they'll move on to someone that doesn't have it. Also, it's important when we talk about viruses that they get your information on, they have a nice antivirus software. I have Kaspersky's. I've had my computer 3 years, and I've had not one single problem with it. Dumpster diving. There's a kid sitting in the back of the room who is an avid dumpster diver. People love doing this for some reason. Decorates his apartment with stuff he finds out of dumpsters. But people actually really enjoy going through dumpsters and no telling what they find. Every year you hear of celebrities who've had something found in the dumpster that they didn't want other people to find. Every day people throw out bills, people throw out old credit card receipts, people throw out everything that has personal information on it and don't think twice about who's going to find it when it's on the curb. Everything that leaves your house needs to go through a shredder. Okay, Social Security card. Most people just think these are random numbers you get. Well, if you're between 1939 and 2012 and applying for yours, they're not random. Now they are random. So let's talk about where you get your numbers. The first 3 numbers are sort of a roadmap, geographical boundaries for what those numbers would be. So I was born, or I actually applied, I don't know where I applied from, but wherever the office you apply from is where those first 3 numbers are going to be. That's that office. The next 2 are group number. So this group of certain of 40,000 kids are going to have the same middle number. And the last 4 are sequential numbers. So I might be 1, 2, 3, 4, and the person who applied immediately after me would be 1, 2, 3, 5. Why am I talking about this? Most of this information can be found on your Facebook. No one ever thinks about this, and this is how actually a lot of identity thieves will take your information. Let's go back. We have the where. I have my hometown. It's where I probably applied out of for my Social Security card. So that's on there. They can narrow that number down. We have the middle 2. It's a group number. So pretty much when was I applied? I got mine when I was born. It's on there too. So, in the last 4, they can try to guess those. They now have a computer program which will 10% of the time will guess the right numbers. So, how are we going to prevent this? Well, really, to tell you the truth, if they want to steal your identity, they're going to. There's really no way to 100% stop them. The Vice President of the United States, I think it was 2 weeks ago, they said that someone had stole his identity and also stole the Speaker of the House. So I figure if they can have their identity stolen, anybody can. So let's talk about what we can do to minimize it. Secure your computer. We already talked about having passwords and getting antivirus software. And also you can take your passwords and change them about every 2 months so your passwords aren't the same. I know I do it. Everyone's guilty of having one password for everything and never changing that password. So let's face it, if we change the password, we're going to forget it. But you need to keep them on a rotation. A need-to-know attitude. I've heard a couple other kids talk about this morning. Why do people, when they call you, why do they need your Social Security number? Do they really need it? Social Security was designed for financial reasons, for the banking industry. Why would somebody need it? If they are using it for a password, you can give them a fake Social Security number and they'll never know the difference if they're not using it. So you can just make up some numbers. Monitor every bill. This is how I got in trouble the second time I had my identity stolen. Somebody made a fake debit card, had my name on it. I've never owned a debit card in my life, but I didn't watch my bank statements that came in every month. And before too long, they drained my bank account.